a group of us here were kind of talking about how do you look at Bob Burleson, and the ambassador of infrastructure was kind of the title that we gave him.
I look at Bob as a professional.
Deliberate, he's very diplomatic.
He is whip smart.
Always telling the truth.
He's a man of his word, and that says a lot. That's hard to find that today.
Whenever Bob speaks, you listen. You know he's going to say something important.
Bob has this natural knack of filtering through all the noise of an issue and coming up with a win-win situation.
Bob brought together a very disjointed, heavy civil construction community. And even though we are very ferocious competitors, with his leadership, we became a very sound, unified industry.
Some of our first steps, and my first steps in dealing with DOT, were adversarial relationships with DOT, where Bob came in and helped us move forward.
That was a huge step in the right direction and a great opportunity for contractors to have a voice to where DOT could hear our concerns, our challenges, and help them understand what we faced each day on a project.
When Bob got hired, the FTBA was not in good shape. You know, he basically resurrected the organization. Then he developed a rapport with the Department of Transportation, and he also developed a national level for the FTBA, you know, as far as ARPTA and whatnot. So, you know, I think Bob exceeded everyone's expectations.
Bob is a collaborator. I'm always impressed with how well he can take different groups and different opinions and put them together in a cohesive message that everyone can understand.
He did an outstanding job of representing the industry as a whole and not playing favorites.
He doesn't demand things, he explains what he wants, and you realize this guy is okay. He wants the same thing we want.
I think that's NAS's biggest challenge, to be able to know what each group needs and to come up with that type of solution where everybody leaves a meeting. Okay, I didn't get everything I wanted, but I got enough to where I could live with.
Bob has always approached it as a team building thing. The association is a partner with the citizens of Florida and the Department of Transportation to build a better transportation system for Florida.
He understood where the industry needed to be, and he understood what the position of the department is.
When I became the secretary and I'm, leaving the DOT, Bob also reminded me and says, you'll find out who your positional friends are and who your true friends are, and very true. I was surprised with some who I thought were true friends were positional, but Bob has been truly a friend.
Integrity. I would say that the association does what it says, and that's because Bob Burleson does what he says.
Dresses the part, he looks the part, he acts the part. Bob's comfortable talking to a contractor out on the grade. He's also comfortable talking to the governor.
I've never heard anybody walk in the halls of Tallahassee or DC that says anything negative about Bob, and because of that, they have a much better outlook on the construction industry.
Your service, your dedication, your commitment to the transportation industry and to the future of Florida has made a profound impact.
He fought not to raid the Transportation Trust Fund. He fought at the federal level to get our fair share of return to Florida of the gas tax money. He's one of those that's not afraid to take on the tough issues.
I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you on more projects than you or I could count, maybe even remember.
Something influential to me that he has said, it's on our membership brochures as well, and I've heard him say it a couple times, is those who show up make the decisions.
When I worked for DOT, Bob was a shining light, frankly, for the association.
He was hired, the association was insolvent.
Membership in the association was very low. Funds, money to operate, low. Reputation with the politicians, low.
After we concluded the interview, for the final interview, we told them, now you got to go to work. We don't have any money to pay you with.
Bringing the association back, paying off their mortgage 20 plus years early for their building, creating a scholarship fund.
He is unified and has grown FTBA from a much smaller group than 30 years ago.
He changed all of that. Every piece of that he changed. We went from over 120 at the first convention to over now, I think they're over 1,000.
6 governors, 9 Department of Transportation secretaries, 16 speakers of the House, 16 presidents of the Senate, and an uncounted number of committee chairmen and legislative members of committees. So Bobby has been in and out of the Capitol, where we both pounded around in for a long time, and had a big impact on the transportation industry.
Bobby wouldn't be the man he is today without Beverly.
Any activity that FTBA has done, Beverly's behind the scenes.
She is giving it all 100%, just like Bob does. So it probably wasn't that big of a surprise when she did become involved in the association, because they're kind of like the team. You know, you get one, you get the other.
If Beverly did nothing other than just let Bob do what Bob does, that's a tremendous effort.
Poor thing, she's had to suffer through all of us calling Bob at 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night.
I'm sure that nobody expected the help and the participation from Beverly that we've received, and it has greatly been appreciated. We appreciate it today.
Do the other states look up to him? I think they are probably looking at him with a sense of envy that he has as many members as he does, and that he's got the support of that membership. I think that the other state executives would be wise to follow the lead that Bobby has put forward.
Really to see the growth of infrastructure. I think Florida, in my opinion, you look around the country, we're one of the strongest states from an infrastructure standpoint. The best I've ever seen, and I've been involved with other associations as well.
We rely on public funds. We need to have a public face. Bob's been that public face for decades now.
It is very impressive that Bob has survived the political environment in a state like Florida. Not only has he survived it, he's thrived. I mean, the industry has under his leadership.
The contractors, the state DOT, we're very fortunate to have somebody like that for that long, with that kind of integrity and that kind of job.
Looking back and looking towards the future, I see myself and our industry losing a valuable tool that we had in our toolbox to do what we do.
Very few people are as dedicated to their jobs as Mr. Burleson is. He has a lot of fantastic accomplishments that'll never be forgotten.